up, people? This is your friend and brother Robert W. JoJo Hill. We are in the building live and in full color. So make sure you guys click like and share and send this to everybody that's in your feed. All right, guys, tonight we're going to answer a question that's been coming down the pike from all of our diamond men. We've been getting it and hearing it all doggone week, ever since we did the show on Monday. All right, the question has been, and it's been almost overwhelming. Should strong women even try to be happily married? Should they even attempt it? This is the question, and this is what's coming from our diamond men. We are going to talk about that on the show tonight. So if you don't have anybody that's clicked on with you, go over there and share it with somebody. Get everybody over here. Let's have a little party tonight because we're going to talk and share. This is a family conversation, and hopefully this will help somebody tonight. It's the JoJo Hill Show. Stay right on. All right, my beautiful people. This is your friend and brother Robert W. JoJo Hill, the servant, the artist, and the author. And of course, I'm in the building on the deity. Yes. All right, man. We are here and we are in live and in color. All right, man. Listen to me very closely. We've had a lot of questions that's been asked over the last couple of days. I've gotten calls and emails, and you guys have been sending me direct messages and whatnot concerning the topic from the other day. Now, the topic the other day, we talked about strong Black women and what that means. And today, we had some questions that's been coming from the men. And I've had several of our women say, JoJo, we want to know from the men, what's the thought? What are the questions? What's coming from the men? Where are they? Where are the men at? Where are they located? How can we get to them? How can we see them? All right, guys. I want to give you guys something I believe will be very powerful and very helpful for you. Now, if you guys could hear it, I'm sure it will help you. Okay, here it is, guys. The question has been, should strong women even try to be happily married? You say, okay, JoJo, what in the world does that mean? What do you mean to be happily married? So many times in this culture, in this community, and we've talked about this for many, many years, our women have been sold a bill of goods. Everything is off, it's twisted. We're not seeing this thing as it show enough is, as they say. We're getting some kind of adjusted version of it, okay? So if you don't know that something is out of place and out of position, you'll keep wondering why it can't function in its right way. Why won't it function the way it's supposed to function? Okay, here it is, guys. What we're going to do tonight, we're going to help you by defining and helping you to identify several key and critical components to what will answer this question. I believe will help to answer this question. Should our women even try? Should strong women even try? This is what we're getting from the men, ladies. The men are saying, why would I even attempt to cover a woman who's already covering herself? Why would I attempt to provide for a woman who doesn't need me for provision? Now, I know to a lot of us that's in this day and time, this is a very foreign concept because we haven't been taught that. We've been taught to go to school, get the good job, and then you can replace the need for what a man will bring into the equation. Now, if you know me and if you follow my work for any period of time, you know that I stand adamantly against that. I think that that's insane because if you are out of position, you will ultimately be replaced with something else. So if our men are being pulled out of position, then of course our women are trying to fill a position that they're really not designed to fill. And this has been a serious problem. This has been a serious issue. What I'm going to do is help us just by going very basic and identifying and pointing out some very specific definitions. Now, I had a man to ask me, young man, what do you mean by that? What do you mean by strong? You always say this strong thing, but what does that mean? All right. Here's a practical and simple definition of strong. Watch this. Strong or strength, having the power to move heavy weights or perform other physically demanding tasks. Here's our definition. The capacity of an object or substance to withstand great force or pressure. All right. Now, I want to ask this question at the outset. How many of our ladies, if they had the option, would choose to not have to withstand great force or pressure? Almost overwhelmingly, that answer is, oh, heck yeah, man, I don't want that. I don't want to carry that crap. I don't want to have to drag and carry things that I'm not designed to drag and carry. It doesn't make any sense. That's nuts. I wouldn't want to be in a position that I'm going to be overwhelmed with things that have great force or pressure. This is why a great portion of our women have been breaking down. I've talked about this for years. They're getting sick. They're getting cancer. Their bodies are breaking down. They're losing, having nervous breakdown. I'm going to talk about this piece a little later on, maybe next week. There was a young girl in Memphis, Tennessee, who got out of her car at a gas station, walked down a bridge with her, 21-month-old child, and she jumped over the overpass and smashed into a truck as it was driving by. What's happening with us? What's going on that's causing this great divide? Our women are being positioned with things that they're not designed to carry. If you give people something that they're not designed to carry, of course they're going to break down. Why do you think folks have nervous breakdowns? They have nervous breakdowns because they're trying to carry things that they can't handle. They literally cannot withstand the weight or the pressure. Now, in our community, strong has been so defined as our women's primary attribute that they don't even think, what else should I be? What else should be in this position? If I'm not supposed to be strong, what am I supposed to be? Now, we wonder why a great portion of our women are not married. We have the highest level of divorce. We are the least and last married. Only 1 out of every 4 or 5 Black women would ever be married successfully and live a happy life in a successful marriage. This is very disturbing. This wasn't a problem for us 60 years ago, 80 years ago, even when we were enduring extreme amounts of pressure and all these other things. We were dealing with all these other pieces, and we still were able to maintain solid marriages, households. If you're not interested in household dynamics and how this thing is going to work out for us as a family and as the units, how we begin to perpetuate our culture, if that's not your interest, this is definitely not the show for you. You don't need to watch this. You need to tip your hat like this, put your finger up like you in an old church, and tip the crap out, because this show is not going to be for you. Now, contrarily, I want to speak to you about something else. We've talked about strength and we've talked about strong. Now watch. I want to now show you something concerning power. Power is the possession of control, authority, or influence over others. Now, I've talked about this maybe a year or 2 ago, but I thought it stands for repeating this year, because so many of our women are going into this year replicating the exact same things that they've done before, and they're wondering, why can't we land anybody? Why won't someone lock me the crap down? It's because we've been repositioned to think that strong is a better attribute. Strong is not a better attribute. I'm going to show you what it should be, but I want to show you conversely what about these two pieces. You have strong and then you have power. Power is substantially different from strong or strength. I was explaining this to my 19-year-old son today. I said, okay, you have the Incredible Hulk. The Incredible Hulk is clearly stronger than Tony Stark or Iron Man. He's physically stronger. However, Tony Stark was more powerful than the Incredible Hulk because he had the ability to control, he had authority, and he had influence over others. Now watch this. Our ladies, our women, when in proper position, they're functioning with a particular degree of power. But we've been disarmed from the power and we've only embraced strength. But strength is a different attribute and it's a different position. Now, positionally, strength is something completely different. Here's strength. Here it is, guys. Strong is a position in the family dynamic reserved for the man. Okay, I just said something and y'all didn't even blink on that one. Y'all didn't even jump up and down. Strong is a position in the family dynamic reserved for the man or the husband, the house band. Now, if our women are carrying out this attribute or this characteristic, or that they think is their primary attribute, they're replacing the position of the man in the family. So if you replace the man in the family, this now begins to lean itself towards the answer as to why so many of strong women are not happily married. You're not happily married because you've been literally positioning yourself in the spot that a man should be, your husband should be. You have no business in that position. We have to get out of that. We have to lose that mindset. And I said that I was going to make a valiant effort to attempt to show and point up to our women and to our people what's happening with us. If we don't understand what the breaches are, if we don't understand what's happening with those breaches, and we don't understand why or how we've arrived there, we'll keep replicating the same things over and over again. This is what we have to adjust. We have to dramatically adjust that thinking. Now, here it is, guys. We've defined strong and we've defined power. Our women instinctively have more power than men. I'm going to say that, and I'm going to sit that right there, and y'all can do something with that if y'all want to. Did you hear what I said? Our women are instinctively more powerful than men. Watch this. You can have a woman that can walk into a scenario. All she got to do is put her little stuff on, put her lotion on, fix her hair, fix her face, put a nice outfit on, be in shape, go over there and walk into an environment where she doesn't know anybody. She doesn't have anything over there at all. And within 10 or 15 minutes, she can have men throwing things at her. You can have a woman who's 5'2" that can completely control a 7-foot man just with her words, her temperament, her character, if she understands her position. Now, in regards to the woman, the woman's primary position is that of wisdom. All right, I'm going to say that again. In terms of the woman's primary attribute is that of wisdom. It's not strong. It's wisdom. So you say, okay, Jojo, what the crap does that mean? What does it mean in terms of wisdom? Why are you always talking about wisdom versus strong? Because a wise woman can build a house, but she doesn't have to do it. She don't have to touch a brick. A wise woman can build it without having to lift a finger because she's functioning with a different attribute. Her primary attribute is that of wisdom. Now, everybody's not going to dig this and everybody's not going to understand that. And I get it because it's very difficult for most people to kind of grab. Most people don't like to grab the idea. They don't like to grab the concept that our women were always those that were filled with wisdom. It was not strong. That came later. That came later on when we start dropping the ball. We start losing it. So you say, what the crap happened, Jojo? What happened? How did we end up in this position that so many of our women have exchanged relationship with strength or strong? This is heavy, man. If you miss this piece, you know, the whole thing is just kind of out the window. You just lose the whole piece. It's just completely out the window. We have a power that's associated with our women. That power is directed by wisdom. Do you get it? Because again, remember, power is simple. It's the possession of control, authority, or influence over others. Who else has a better or greater influence in the household than the first teacher of the children? Do y'all see this? Our women have this power. It's amazing. I've always taught that if our women was to really discover who we were and understand how we are and what we carry, you would never seek the position of strong in the household. Never. You would never seek that position. You'd never seek it because you would understand you don't have to engage that. That's something that you don't have to engage whatsoever. You would have a different mindset about how you move. You wouldn't have to try to be so strong in the household. This is why so many of our women are not happily married. They're not stepping into that position because you're not exuding the energy of someone that would want to be happily married. Is this making sense? I trust that it is. You have so many of our beautiful women. They want so badly to talk about how strong they are, how educated they are, and how, okay. And I've talked about this again for many years. A diamond man, or man that has understanding of value and worth. That's what I defined as the diamond man, or a man that has that attribute, that characteristic, that color about himself, right? Your money is irrelevant to that guy. He doesn't need your money. See, the misnomer is that our women have been thinking that all you have to do is just come in and say what kind of great job you have and all these things, but that doesn't do anything to a man that has his own resources. A man that has his own resources, he doesn't need your money. So again, you're bumping yourself out of the arena of marriage. You're bumping yourself out of the happily ever after. Every time that you introduce these other components, you're consistently bumping yourself out. So when I get these calls from these beautiful, incredible Black women, and they're going, JoJo, I don't understand. I know I'm cute. I know, I'm in shape. I'm saying, okay, listen to me. You're still missing a primary piece. You're still exuding an energy that says, I don't need you. Men that have any level of influence, any level of positional power, resource, that man is very sensitive to certain things. You have to be. You can't be in those positions and in those landscapes, as it were. You can't land there unless you have that. So we watch things, we can sense energies. It's very specific. The energies are very specific. So here's what happens. When we encounter a woman that exudes an energy of a man, that man says, I don't want to be around that woman. He backs the crap out. He's like, oh man, heck no, I can't deal with that chick. She act like me. She's trying to do all the stuff that I do. Then what am I supposed to do? What am I doing? If you're doing all the stuff that I'm supposed to do, then what am I supposed to do here? So that means all we're going to do is fight. We're just going to be in dogfights all the time. So a man that has any level of influence, power, value, and worth, and he understands that, diamond dude, he's not going to be involved with you. He's going to say, oh, heck no, I can't be involved with you. You're going to create some crap that I have no intention of dealing with whatsoever. So you have to be mindful of that. How do you begin to shift that, ladies? What's the next part? How do you begin to shift that thing out? How do you change it? How do you begin to adjust this programming that you have? Do you understand how deeply rooted the programming has happened in our community? We're losing. We're losing hand over fist. Lose for sure. And you say, JoJo, well, why is that? How is that? Well, it's because you've been programmed to think that your position is one thing, but it's not. But it's not that. If you think your position is that of strong, you will never function in the position of wisdom. That's different. A wise woman is a completely different kind of girl. She has a different energy. And a man that has his stuff together, he will always want to be connected with a wise woman. He's not going to want to be bothered with a chick that thinks she's just as strong as him. He don't want that, because strong, again, is a position. It's a position in the structure. You have husband, wife, children. That's how it should be. Now, in our community, what is it? Most people define the family structure as a mom and then a bunch of children. And quite often, it's a mom and children by several different men. It's never been anything that bound the house together. That's why the house is completely out of control. That's why the house is loose. It doesn't have a band around it. There's no house band. Do you understand what I'm trying to show you? This is very important information. Our women are asking these questions. JoJo, where are these dudes at? How can I get to them? I had someone ask me earlier today, JoJo, where are these men and how do we get to these men? Where are they? Listen to me, ladies. Let me encourage you. There are a lot of men available and out there. It's a lot. The statistics, I've talked about this before, the statistics of men that are available, single, and childless is like 55%, 51, like 55%. So it's a lot of men that are available, but why won't they lock in? Because it's something in the bait that's not correct. You got to change the bait. or you're never going to do it. The man is not going. It's just not going to happen for you. You have to make that adjustment. Now, watch this, guys. I want to ask a couple questions here, and then I'm going to open up the lines for you guys to come on, and we can talk and share. And if you have a disagreement, just save it, hang on to it, and I'm going to bring you on in just a few minutes. A couple things I want to ask here. First order of business: who told Black women to be so strong? Where did it come from? In order for you to understand the movement of a thing, you have to understand the nature of a thing. So you ask the question, where did that thing come from? Who taught us that? Who taught our women to think of themselves as strong before wise? If I can get you to lose your position of wisdom, ladies, right? I can manipulate you because you'll be so busy focusing on how strong you need to be or how strong you think you are, you'll never ever function in wisdom. So I can trick you if you're not moving in wisdom. Are y'all catching this? If you get out of the position of strong and go back to wisdom, it's a lot less likely that you'll be tricked. How many times have you heard our ladies and our Black women say, I'm tired of people tricking me. All they had to do is just tell me the truth. I'm tired of them lying. Why you just didn't do? Because you're not functioning in wisdom. People that function in wisdom have a sense of discernment about themselves. They can pick up things. They'd be like, oh, heck no, that dude, no, he tripping. He a fool. That person is going to be a fool. I can't lock in with him. It's certain things that they do, and they operate with a particular degree of understanding when you have wisdom. But if you've only focused on strong, you won't even recognize a good solid dude when he walks up on you. He'll walk right past you. You'll have no idea who he is. You won't be able to recognize how cold-blooded the guy is. The only thing you'll be thinking is, I got to prove to him how strong I am, instead of you functioning in wisdom and captivating this dude with what you are. Your girl is cold enough. I've talked about this for years. Your feminine energy, your femininity, as it were, is so powerful. You can cripple a man with your femininity. If our ladies understood that you can literally break a man down like a shotgun, you can break him down to his knees if you understood how powerful your femininity was. Stop trying to function and get involved in this crap based upon strong and strength. That's a mistake. Doesn't work, doesn't work, doesn't work. Throw that junk in the trash, in the trash, in the trash. It does not work. You say, well, Jojo, I think I can be strong and I can be okay. Listen, sis, do whatever the crap you want to. I'm looking at the statistics, and the statistics say and reflect that most of our women will die unmarried. So you're talking about 1 out of every 4 or 5 women even get married, and the ones that do somehow end up in divorce. But why? It's got to be something in that. Most of our women, not all of them, but a great portion of our women are very argumentative. But what is argumentative a derivative of? How strong you are, because you have to prove. It's just like you having a fight. It's like a war. You got to prove that I'm just as strong as you. I'm just, my word, I can say as much stuff as you. You're using that wrong thing. A wise woman understands that when a man has if he's in the right position of strength, if he's in his right position, if he's functioning strong in his finance, he's strong in his resources, he's strong in his credit, he's strong in his relationship, he's strong with his peer base, he's strong with his word, he's strong. You understand? His word has something. It means something. It's not random. You can trust what he says. You can depend on him. He's dependable. Other people love him. And dude, that person, that man that functions in that, he's looking for a type of woman, a type of wife. He is. Again, this show and what I talk about has, if you're not interested in this from a marriage perspective and locking in, having a successful marriage in life, this is not the platform for you. Perhaps you need to go somewhere else. This ain't the hookup spot. This ain't the, let's see who can get the crap banged out of them. That's not what this is. That's not what this is. I want you guys to understand how to land in a certain position, because many of our men have been asking the question, should they even try? Should the strong Black woman, should the strong woman overall, but more particularly the Black woman, should she even try to be happily married? Should she even attempt it? Because if you don't adjust this position of strong, your attempts are going to be failures. You're going to fail. Because if you encounter a man that has a particular position of strong himself, he's not going to go back and forth with you. He will get the crap away from you. So the question needs to be, who taught us this? Where did it come from? Now, if we go back, we'll begin to see that this thing came from and derived in the area of slavery. And then more particularly, right around the 70s, you started getting to, in the 60s and 70s, you started to get this, I don't need a man in the house foolishness. So then now the woman is left to fend for herself, functioning inside of a household with children, but there's no man to cover the house. So if there's no man to cover the house and the woman is not functioning in wisdom, and she's only functioning to prove how strong she is and the fact that she don't necessarily need a man to survive, which is the biggest haka spit I've ever heard, somebody then comes in and they can dominate your household. This is why I always talk about it in terms of the so-called church. The so-called church has been extremely crippling in regards to marriage with the Black woman. Extremely it's like it's almost unbelievable to even think about it, because most people, if you look at the context of the average Black church, for example, I'm not a church guy. I don't profess to be a Christian because that stuff is just too off. But in regards to the so-called church, if you look at the layout, most of the women in there are single. So you say, well, crap, how are they single? What's going on? Why is it that they keep going to these things, but they can never get locked in? It's got to be something wrong with the equation. It's because the perpetuation of strong is consistently pushed in there, as opposed to teaching the women to function in pure wisdom and not trying to prove how strong you are. That's why most of the women who are in positions of so-called power inside of the church structure, most of those ladies are single. If you think about them, most of them have failed marriages, they have not been married, they can never properly be aligned with a man. So ultimately, these people are going to die by themselves. We're seeing it. These people are going to die by themselves with all this so-called powerful this and crap and all this strong listen, all of that's foolishness, because these folks are dying by themselves. This is not something that we want. If we don't have strong Black families, guys, we are in a serious mess. We're gonna be in a fix. We're gonna get jacked up. Are y'all hearing what I'm showing you? Now, the other part is I want to show you guys something else. Excuse me. Now, ask the question. I asked the question, who told the Black woman that she had to be strong? The powers that be, the systematic process, the power structures outside of our households, outside of our communities, have convinced our Black women that they have to be strong instead of wise. And we got that. What was the systematic purpose of the strong Black woman? What was the systematic purpose? What was its purpose? Why was that planned? Why was that put together to make our women believe that they have to be strong instead of wise? Because that would push out the man. It would ultimately push the Black man out. It would push the man out of the house. And this dynamic is really not completely autonomous to just Black people, but I'm speaking about it towards Black people because guess what? I'm Black and I'll never be nothing but Black. That's it. I'm gonna be Black. That's it. I'm Black as this microphone. And that's just the way it goes. So there's a systematic purpose. It was something that caused it, to cause our Black women to believe that they had to be this. This is why they're not being happily married. They've replaced the position of the man. What the man gonna marry? He can't marry himself. Well, I mean, at least not in the traditional sense. In this sick culture, pretty soon they're gonna be marrying themselves. Do you like me? Yes. Do you think I look good? Yes. We gotta watch it, man. This stuff has been twisted. Here's the next order of business. When were our women targeted to be strong ones in our household? When was that? What happened? It was a time period, 60s, 70s. That's what happened. And you'll notice a decline in the household position of man, woman, child. Then it starts just being women, children. Woman is now left uncovered. The house is ran by a woman that's not traditionally functioning with wisdom. Not all, but a great portion. And then you have governmental things coming in to oversee the house. So now there's no man in there to dictate, no husband there to dictate the movement of the house. The house is now being moved by outside stimuli. This is incredible, man. And it makes sense when we start looking at this thing from a systematic perspective. You'll start to understand, hey, wait a minute. We've been set up, man. We getting tricked. What happened? Our women have been put and targeted to be the strong ones because they know ultimately that women's position is not strength. It's not the position. Your position is wisdom. You're supposed to be on top of your thing, functioning in wisdom. You're operating with a completely different mindset. Your movements are categorically higher when you function in wisdom. You think different. You act different. You position yourself completely different, ladies. Hear me. Hear me. You're different when you function in wisdom as opposed to strong. It's different. Where has the idealism left our Black women? Okay, so let's say of all these years, all these women by the droves have been holding up their fists and holding up their flags to talk about, I know how strong I am. I'm strong. You girl, you go, girl. You are strong, Black woman. You strong. Where has that left us? Where has that idealism left our Black women? You're left at the bottom of the totem pole in regards to being happily married. This is why a great portion of you guys are by yourselves. You're passing over these thresholds every year. So the time is going by. You guys are not watching. People are not paying attention. Year after year, I'm seeing people that are absolutely drop dead gorgeous. They got all of the look. They got the looks and they got the money. They got the stuff, but they cannot lock in a man to save their life. They cannot lock in a man to save their lives. And they saying, well, these dudes ain't. And I tend to agree, but it's not all of them because it's a great portion of men that are available. It's a great portion of them are available. In fact, we had a guy on the show on Monday, and he talked about his pedigree, kind of talked about some things, his accomplishments, and the area and field that he worked in and what kind of salary bracket that he worked from and what have you. And he spoke about some things that he had encountered with some women that was just very, very, very interesting. And I couldn't, I can't dispute someone's experience because that is in fact his experience. His experience has left him to look at this. And so now he's saying, well, I prefer, he talked about dark-skinned women. He said that he really liked dark-skinned women. One of the callers on the show the other night, he liked dark-skinned women, but then he started thinking, well, maybe I'm going to have to go to another place. I'm going to have to go over the water to try to find somebody because in this culture, it's very complicated. It's become very complicated to find a Black woman that has these attributes and these characteristics that will attract and keep a certain type of a Black man. This is very, 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 very interesting. And he talked about it very specifically on the show. When you get a chance, you might want to go back and take a look at that as well. Next piece. I've talked about this for many, many years. You cannot have a culture that embraces everything that's fake as normalized and think that it's not going to affect that culture. You can't have a culture that embraces everything that's fake and phony and think it's not going to affect the culture. Now, this is something I've been talking about for many, 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 many years. We have so many of our women, and I'm going to go ahead and step on out there because I don't give a crap. It's my show. I can say what the crap I want to. We have so many of our women who embrace fake position, right? Fake roles in the house, right? Then you start talking about physical fake stuff. You have fake from the top. Let's go from the top. Fake hair, check. Fake eyebrows, check. Fake eyelashes, check. Fake skin texture and color, check. Fake, I don't know what the crap they call this stuff, all this stuff they put on their face. All these things fake. And just go right on down the neck. Then they have fake titties, right? Fake butt that they've moved fat from and squeezed it into their butt. And then people do whatever they want. But just understand it's still presenting something that's fake. Remember, I talked about this. You cannot have a culture that embraces everything that's fake as normal and think it's not going to affect the culture. Now watch. You got all these things that the so-called strong black woman, not all of them, but a great portion, that are carrying this mantra with the fist up, talking about how strong they are. They're embracing all these fake dynamics and fake pieces. And what's happening to them? Where has it left them? Now, what's the effect? How is it affecting the culture? Now the children, now you have men, these boys, or I'll call them males because a lot of them are not growing up to be men. These are just male humans that are watching all of these fake characteristics be perpetuated in the home every day, 365 days a year, every single day to their 20-some years old. And they believe that that type of female is a normalized female. So then you wonder why there's such a lack of a certain caliber of men. It's a lack of the men because they're being trained to accept fake as normal. So if you present to them a normal woman, they can accept a normal woman. You're not understanding. You've given them nothing to bounce back and forth in their mind about what they should connect with, but what's fake. So they'll never think to even grab or reach for a woman that's normal or natural or regular or normalized, as it were. You say, well, Jojo, you can't define someone else as normal. Okay, I get it. I understand that. But understand when you start talking about a certain level of man, he's just not going to accept that. A man that understands that you cannot embrace everything that's fake as regular and normal, he's not going to connect with you. It's not going to happen. But what keeps happening in our culture, we keep hoisting up the fake and presenting it as normalized. But this is a mistake. This is a terrible error. This is terrible, terrible error. You cannot do that. You can't do it. So what do we have? What do we have now? We have a surplus of our women that are single. They got the education. They strong. They don't need nobody. They are independent and they are by themselves. A great portion. You say, well, I know somebody who did. Okay, I got you. But within the masses, you have to think in the group. You have to think for the group. What is the group? I always teach from a group perspective. How is this affecting the group? Look at what's happening with the group. If you don't understand this, folks, you're never going to get it. You're never going to get it. I'm going to look at some of these comments now because it's just about time for us to start doing the our questions and whatnot. So we let people come on. So we're going to do that in just a minute. So if you got your questions, please get them ready. And we're going to get ready to bring you guys on here in just the next short little while. All right. Let's see what we're saying here. All right, Rob, what's up, man? Good to see you. All right, Trey's popped back on. Trey, what's up, man? It's good to see you. Trey, we have some folks that have some questions concerning you, buddy. I got some emails and messages and whatnot concerning you. So we might have to bring you back on and let you have a conversation with, well, and see what some of these folks are saying. So Trey, you stay put and stay around because I believe that we want to get you back on here. And see, here's the thing. Here's the thing. Too often, our women, again, have been taught there is no real accountability in terms of expectation. So if you've been taught and trained to believe that Whatever you are and wherever you are and however you are should just be accepted no matter what it is. Again, that's a fake and broken mentality. That mentality says, oh man, I don't need to change nothing. So everybody else needs to change around me, but I myself don't have to change. I am in no need to change. Everyone that needs to make the adjustment is outside of me. And this is what a lot of our women are saying. So when you start looking at it, you saying, why in the ham and cheese could these women be married? What's going on? What's happening in the mind that's caused them to believe this? It's because a great portion of our women have accepted fake as normalized. Now, when we come back, we're going to come back in just a second. We're going to bring some folks on and we're going to answer some questions and whatnot. And that's what we're going to do in just a minute. Stay right here. Stay right where you at, guys. All right, folks, we are back. Just want to just take a quick break there and get prepared to answer some of these questions. All right, now some of the questions that I got, and I'm going to try to go through them and look at some of these questions that I got in regards to the show. Now, I'm looking at a lot of our women that have been told forever that everything that they do is okay. So then when a man comes around and says, hey, you know what you're doing is really not okay, they can't process that. They can't process the information. Let me see here. They can't process that someone is correcting them. And again, that's something that's happened over the years, particularly when you have fathers that are out of position. And obviously not every woman, not every person is not growing up without a father. That's not what I'm saying. But when you have the bulk of them, the bulk of the community that are being raised outside of the context of fatherhood, they've never learned to develop the muscle of correction. I've talked about this many times before in regards to some of our young men, the young boys, right? The first time that they'll even hear someone of a male position making them have any type of correction in their thinking is usually when a cop says something to them, or someone at a job that they may have, or a principal at a school, something like that. And the first thing that they respond with is, man, you disrespected me. And it's like, no, I'm not disrespecting you. I'm correcting you. This is not disrespect. I'm correcting you. And this has been the mindset with a great portion of the boys, right? Conversely, what's happened with the women, they've groomed these boys to not understand correction because they themselves haven't learned correction or to hear that voice and accept it as love. Correction is love. It's not hate. It's not disrespect. So if I stop you from getting hit by a bus, I'm not hating on you. I'm protecting you. But if you don't understand that this is a means of protection, I'm protecting you, then you'll fight me tooth and nail when I attempt to give you protection. In the same way, many of our women are encountering men that have the characteristic of strong men, and instead of them accepting or receiving this, the connection as something as that will benefit them, what they hear instead is competition. They hear he think he's better than me. They think he ain't my daddy. They think you can't tell me what to do, or you always think you know everything. That's the functioning of a foolish woman. Gentlemen, I will tell you this, and I'm going to shift this over to the guys right here. Gentlemen, if you encounter a woman and she is not capable of embracing and understanding what you bring in terms of your position of strength strong in will, determination, resources, economic understanding, educational influences, relationship, business development, if all those strongs and strength that you have, if she can't perceive that, gentlemen, I'm gonna tell you this: get the crap away from her. Let me say it again, gentlemen. She's a fool. Get the crap away from her. If she can't understand, gentlemen, get your hat and your coat. Leave your worries at the doorstep. Get the crap away from her. She's going to be a problem. She's going to be a problem because she's never learned, and nor has she developed the muscle of accepting correction. Do you hear it? Because correction is a form of love. So you could encounter someone, you can connect with someone, you can connect with a woman, and if she can't understand or receive what you're bringing, it's a wasted conversation. All right, that's a wasted conversation. All right, I'm gonna slide over here to the comments and see what you guys got to say. All right, who's over here and who wants to pop on? If you want to do that, please do that right quickly. Let me pop this invite over here and pop this piece in there so you guys can click on that link there. It should be there now. If you want to pop on and you have something to say, please do that, and we will allow you on the show when on the night. I had some very interesting conversations over the last couple days in regards to the show from Monday, and a lot of it has been, okay, this is really helping me. I understand this has really been eye-opening. I didn't know this about that, or I needed somebody to say this and give me this thing wrong, because our women are, it devastates me. It really breaks my heart. Honestly, it breaks my heart when I look at the condition that our women are in. Our women are dying alone. They're dying by themselves. This is amazing. This is craziness. We didn't have that. That wasn't something culturally that was our issue. We didn't have that. We always had great family connections. We always had great lineage and whatnot. This is something that we held very, very close and very dear. This was not a joke and it was not a game. So even if in the time of slavery, I've talked about this before, people would sneak and get married. They didn't have nothing. They literally didn't have nothing. They literally had absolutely nothing. What did they do? They still were able to find someone that they could connect with and that had value and worth with them. That relationship was very valuable. And they said, we're not going to bring life into this scenario outside of the context of marriage as much as we can help it. Now, it's a lot of times, a lot of things that happen, particularly in slavery, where we had no control over that. But the things that we could control, we did control. And we made an effort to control. We made an effort to live a certain type of life. This is what our thing was. Are you following me? We've lost that. And it's gotten tragic. It's tragic what's happened with our women. It's tragic. What we don't want, we don't want to have a generation. We don't want to have another generation of people who come along, who think that it's normal to never have happy marriages. Happy marriages are supposed to be normalized. Being single with children should be strange. Why do you think that we're going through so many things that's upside down? Because we're doing things that we weren't designed to do. We weren't supposed to be in those situations. And so it is my charge and it is my assignment, as it were, to hopefully shake the cage or rattle the cage, as it were, to get us to begin to understand that we're doing things that we weren't designed to do. We're engaging things that we weren't designed to engage. Our women were never designed to carry the household blunt of pressure and weight. That wasn't what we were supposed to do. The men had bigger shoulders for a reason. We had bigger shoulders because we were designed to carry more weight. And if our women are still insisting on carrying this weight, understand the men that are worth a doggone will probably leave you by yourself. They're not going to do that. That's why you look over and you be like, well, I don't understand. She's so plain Jane and she just regular. She ain't nothing special about her, but she knows how to let a leader lead. It's very powerful. That's a whole nother show. But you have to be able to let a leader lead. If you take the ability away from a leader to lead, then he's not going to be around you. He's going to go where he's needed. He's going to go where he's needed to lead. It's very simple. I know a lot of attorneys, doctors, people that have businesses, people that are very successful on paper, but they go home and cry every night. Every Christmas Eve, they trying to call and talk for 15 hours. You know why? Because they ain't got nobody to share that time with. They don't have nobody to share those special days with. So they end up making everybody's business in their life. So they don't have anything special. It's nothing special about them. In order for you to have special moments, you have to have special people that you share those things with. I am so freaking happy to be connected with my wife. The person that I married, I made a very specific decision. I chose very specifically. I said, okay, I have options, but I have to pick the best option. Which one fits the wisdom category? Which one am I not going to have to go back and forth about my position with? No, let me have my position. So if I drop the ball, I drop the ball in my position. Do you follow me? It's not going to be just some random back and forth about a position that we're both trying to occupy. Heck no. Men don't do that. I've talked about that for many years. It's a distinct difference between a man and males. It's very, very, very distinct difference. Very different. Men think from the position of provision, safety, resources, logical movement and thoughts, and all the decisions are pushed and filtered through logic and reasoning, not emotions. I was telling my son tonight, I said, there's a reason why I hear him and his brother, they'll sneak and be talking to my wife about certain things because they want to be, they want to be petted or comforted, as it were. Whereas I'll listen to the story and I'll go, okay, hold on. So what did you do prior to that? What was your thought during? And what was your plan after? And that's always not comfortable. They're like, oh man, dad gonna take us through the doggone ringer. Because as a man, I'm gonna think differently from a woman because my position is different. You follow me? So imagine you have these men that have all of this energy, all of this resource, all this stuff that makes them men. I ain't talking about males, I'm talking about men. I'm talking about men. If you don't give a man the position to be a man, hear me very closely, ladies. He's going to leave you. If you don't give him that, he's going to leave you. It's not a matter of if, it is a matter of time. He's going to leave you behind by yourself to sit there and argue. He's not going to do that. I talked about this on the show the other day. Every man craves a nest with no thorns. He doesn't want to go back and forth every single day. That's insanity. It can't be a sparring match every time. It's a difference. I asked my sons, I don't know, it was a couple years ago now. It was maybe, I want to say it was maybe 4 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago. We were at a restaurant and I asked my sons, I said, boys, do you think that your mom is a strong woman? And my sons, who were teenagers at the time, they said, no, sir. I said, why don't you think that? And they said, because you're strong for her. She doesn't have to be. I told the waitress, bring them whatever they want. Get them, let them have whatever they want. Bring them some more snacks, whatever they want, give it to them. And I said, mission accomplished. And I wanted my boys to know. And I said, now, what this means, this doesn't mean that your mother is weak. That doesn't mean weakness. Because you're not functioning in the position of strong does not suggest that you're weak, ladies. That's not what it means. It means it's a position that you cannot occupy. You're not supposed to occupy the position. It would be insane for a general manager to try to go out and run the doggone full court press as a point guard. That's not his position. Just as it would be insane for a cheerleader to try to function as a center. She can't. It's not anything wrong with her. It doesn't mean that she's weak or insignificant. No, it's just not her position. You can't expect Shaq to be at the top of a pyramid doing flips and crap as a cheerleader. He's not going to do that. That's not his position. We're defining positions as characteristics. You're not supposed to define it as a characteristic. This is why it goes nuts. I'm telling you, you cannot do it. Listen, I want you guys to go over to RW JoJo Hill. We have some great stuff going on this week. Anything in the store, 40% off. Now, make sure you guys do that. It's a lot of trainings over there because I cannot cover everything in these shows. I just can't do it. We've already done all these trainings and all this stuff to get you where you need to be. Now, I believe that my assignment is just a part of an equation. It's just a part of an equation, okay? It's just a part of an equation. You have to do what you do. You have to do your part. You have to invest in yourself. I heard a smart man say once that only a fool would not invest in himself. Only a fool would not invest in himself. A lot of you guys have gotten stimulus. A lot of you guys have gotten this, that, and the other. And you're just going to kind of blow it and go out there and do that. Listen, I would admonish you to go to the website, go to rwjojohill.com and pick up some of these trainings. Now, I want to show you guys. Let me just do this real quick. Let's share that thing over there. I want to share this here because I want you guys to see some of these incredible trainings that we have available. And I want you guys to check them out. The first piece I want you guys to see, let's look at this. Recognizing the Diamond is a training that we have. Absolutely incredible. We cover a lot of things in this training. Recognizing the Diamond. If you put in the code of NY 2021, you will get a substantial savings. It's a 40%. It's just for this week, 40%, right? We still have 40% available this week only. After this week, this will not be available at this price. Anything over $100, you're going to get 40% off of the purchases. You definitely need to do that. Recognizing the Diamond is a very powerful training that I believe a lot of you guys have needed for many years. When you start talking about relationships, how do you begin to see and know which people you should connect with? Which ones should you not connect with? You're going to need all of those pieces. Another powerful piece that we have here for some of our creatives, this is another powerful piece, how to monetize your creativity. This is a very, very, very powerful training as well that I believe that you guys need to have. It's a lot of things that's covered in here. You understand why your creative gifts are not free for use. You just don't give people stuff that they're supposed to pay for. You don't let people have stuff for nothing. You don't give away what you can sell. I hope y'all got that. You also, how do you do what comes naturally to you and potentially earn 5 to 6 figures income almost immediately? I show you guys that in a very powerful and simple and plain way that you guys can begin to see how you can use what you naturally have and create a whole nother set of income for yourself. You're talking 5, 6 figures if you would apply what you naturally have. You can change all of that very simply and very quickly. Discover how living your making will make your living. It's another very powerful piece there. Why do you, I have another line here. Why you don't have to give away your intellectual property. You don't give away your IPs. You don't do that. You know why? Because they're yours. They're your intellectual properties. You don't give them away. You don't do that. It's another powerful training. It's a lot of things. You go to the website, take a look at that, put this stuff in your cart, and make sure that at that point, let's just do one so you can kind of see how that whole process will go. Let's say you add this piece to your cart. And then in this section right here where it says coupon, you will put in the coupon code of NY 2021. And then when you hit apply here, notice that savings. You see how that dropped down? It dropped down almost $100. Very powerful training. And you'll get that piece for only $148.20 if you do that this week. And you drop stuff in that cart, put that coupon code on there, and you will have all those things that you need, because it's going to give you substantial savings, particularly this week. Okay, do that, please, ma'am, and please, sir. Now, a lot of you guys have asked also. Yeah, you can take me out of that. Okay. A lot of you guys have asked concerning making donations and whatnot, and I've opened that thing up for that. You can feel free to do that. Our Cash App is RW Jojo Hill. You can do that. Any amount will be great, because I want you guys to continue to get this great content and do the show and experience what we're doing with the shows and all the things that we're working on for this year. This is a very powerful year. 2020 was a very interesting year, but it was still a good year for us. It was a great year, but we're expecting even greater things to come in this year. Now, if you want to be connected to this train, as my mom would say, you have to be connected to what my mother called the blessing train. In other words, a moving boat or a moving train. If you jump on it, you'll go wherever it goes. And I believe that what I've been assigned to do has been very, very specifically gifted and given me to do this for our people and for this time. Make a donation. Pop over to Cash App. Make a donation. Some of you say, well, I can't afford to do a training this time. Make a donation. I quite often I'll go in with people who make donations to our broadcast and whatnot, and we'll just pick somebody and we'll give you some trainings. But you never know. If you haven't done that, if you haven't done anything towards it, you can't expect to get anything out of it. Daddy used to say you can't go to a bucket and keep dragging stuff out of it if you never replenish what's in that bucket. So do your part. Go to the Cash App, rwjojohill.com. You can also do PayPal, servantrwh@gmail.com is the PayPal, and you can make your donations there, and feel free to do that. In the store, of course, rwjojohill.com, the V-books, the trainings, the courses, all the stuff is there, 40% off. All right, guys, listen, I was hoping that you guys had some comments that you would pop on the show and you want to share. I haven't seen that you guys are doing that, so I see Latrey is back in the building. What's up, Trey? Good to see you. Rob Lee is also in the building, my good friend and brother. How you doing, Rob? What's up, buddy? My niece. That's my niece. What's up, Sparkle? My niece is in the building. Love you, Uncle. Oh, what's up, Sparkle? Good to see you, baby girl. Love you very much as well. Listen, guys, I want you to, in this coming year, there is a way, ladies, there is a way that you can begin to secure what you need. There is a way. All right. If you keep doing what you've always done, you're going to continue to get the exact same results. If you continue to do the same things, you'll get the exact same results. Now, what we want this time, we want you to get different results. You're going to have to lose the mantra of strong. If you try it for a year, see what happens if you drop your strong and replace it with wise. Just see what happens. After you get finished, I'm pretty sure you'll send me an invite to the doggone wedding. All right, guys, this is your friend and brother, Robert W. Jojo Hill, the servant, the artist, and the author. Listen, I want you guys to be encouraged, be empowered, and most of all, guys, say it with me, man, be enlightened. Y'all, the servant has spoken. I'm out.